guess we need an intro. Let's go.
Welcome to the Exitpreneur 360 podcast, guys. This is episode 1. We've actually recording this probably last of the season 1. This is like we've done 5 or 6 episodes already, but as with everything, you've got to start at the end to get to the beginning kind of thing.
Start with the end in mind.
Exactly. And that's what we've done here. Simon has joined me. I'm on a journey. If you know who I am and you know where I've been, then you kind of know my journey a little bit. But I feel like I've got an interesting journey and I'm wanting to share it with people. That's what this podcast is about. It's about my journey, particularly over the last 2-3 years, but also my journey through life. I think I've had an interesting... I think my family's had an interesting run over the years of bullshit and adversity that we've had to go through, and it's made me into quite a resilient human being. And I think it's stood me quite well over the last few years, in particular my work journey and where I am right now. So that's what I'm doing. I think if you are interested in it, I'd love you to join me, like and share the podcast, and tune in every week. We'll be having new episodes, potentially even more than every one a week, because Simon's so hungry to do more episodes. She's constantly phoning me saying, "Hey Steve, can we record again?" This is a real, in fact, Simon, so just a bit of introduction to Simon. Simon is my cousin. I've known her my whole life, and she is an inspiration, I think, in her own right. She's an OG, old gangster in the PR world of South Africa, runs an agency called Headlines PR, and what I love having her on this podcast in particular is because one of the reasons, or one of the purposes of this podcast, is to hopefully inspire people to not just follow my journey and see what I'm doing, but to be inspired to take steps and risks and take opportunities that they would take. Because a big part of this journey for me is becoming comfortable with the uncomfortable and doing things every day that make you uncomfortable. And Simone just sitting here staring at me with her hand on her chin going, I can see what's going through her mind is, Steve, this is uncomfortable for me. And that's why I'm so glad she's here, because this is an exceptionally uncomfortable environment for you, isn't it?
Very much so. In fact, you caught me at a weak moment of shopping and grocery shopping.
Right. Which is, and that's what I say, is Simone is, as far as I'm concerned, the first life that this podcast is changing, aside from mine, obviously, but because I caught her at a weak moment. I said, Sim, I need someone to help me with this. That's another theme of this podcast, is you can't do things alone. And so I dragged her in, and Simone, if you know anyone...
I think it was that motivating factor.
What they can't do?
No, is that I was helping you.
Yes.
That's what I want to do, is help you.
Exactly. And I think that's just, it's a big theme of this, and I think the other thing about this is asking for help and recognizing you can't do things on your own. And Simone, if you know anything about PR people, they are very, very good at being behind the scenes and promoting other people into the spotlight. That's their job. They are not good, or they're not comfortable, and I think Simone personifies that here, at being in front of the microphone or in front of the screen.
I'd much rather my clients were in front of the camera.
Exactly. So this is a real challenge for her, and I'm very proud of her that she's agreed to do this, and she's come a long way, even in the few episodes we've done, and I'm excited to see where she goes until she starts her own podcast, because I think that's the future.
Well, slowly, Steve, but thank you. It's good to be here.
So just what is an exitpreneur, and why have I called this journey of mine Exitpreneur 360? So an exitpreneur for me it's as I say, it kind of tells the story of the last 2 years of my life, coming from it. You know, I think about Alex Hormozy, who's a very well-known entrepreneur and business specialist, I guess you could call him, and he talks in one of his books about being a one-entrepreneur, and it's the journey that I think a lot of people go through, being making someone else happy, following someone else's dream, not your own dream, and getting frustrated because you are in that position that you're not doing what's good for you, what's great for you, and you're not fulfilling your purpose. You're fulfilling someone else's purpose, and you're doing it in the name, and you are getting rewarded for it. You're getting a salary, you're getting security and all that stuff, but you're also, time is ticking by, and becoming successful and following what you want to do in your life is getting further and further away. So a lot of that comes, you start to feel burnout, which is exactly what I was going through in my corporate kind of environment that I was in over the last 2 years. And you start to feel burnout, and you start to feel that you start to realize, something I've realized recently, was I was a victim. even though I didn't know I was a victim, maybe I was too stupid to know I was a victim, but I was victimized, and I was allowing myself to get victimized. And I think it's a very cool thing to be victimized these days. Everybody wants to be a victim because then people feel sorry for you. Well, I've said, hey, if I was a victim, I don't want to be anybody feel sorry for me. I want to do something about it. And I think we too quickly in today's society are we happy to call ourselves a victim and to acknowledge that we're victims, and then just sit on our ass and go, oh, well, I'm a victim, I can't do anything. So I'm saying stuff that you can do something, and we should do something about it. So it's about just taking that on. And the other, I think, big theme about what I'm doing, and this has driven me for the last 3 or 4 years that since I read the book, is a book called Good to Great, and it talks about the concept of the hedgehog concept and being the best in the world at something. And that's one of the biggest, and as we discussed in episode 2 and episode 3, that was my breaking point. That was my jumping off point, was I can't be the best in the world at what I'm doing currently. And I want to be the best in the world at what I can be at the best in the world at. And in order to do that, I need to leave the secure zone that I'm in. I need to leave the secure world legitimately, as you'll find out, where I was in the world geographically. And I need to leave the security of having a job and having a guaranteed paycheck and working for in a company, on a journey, or on a mission that I potentially didn't believe in anymore. And getting out of that and going, hey, what can I be the best in the world at? I need to go follow that. And it's been so liberating. And that's, I think, hopefully, as I say, it becomes inspirational to other people to say, hey, I'm not doing what I could be the best in the world at. I've always wanted to be a chef, or I've always wanted to be an artist, or whatever it is. I'm going to go do that because I can be the best in the world at. Even if I'm not making as much money as I am here in this cushy job, at least I'm living my days doing something that I'm flipping the best that I can be at. So hopefully that comes through as well. The other part of the name Exitpreneur 360 is, again, Exitpreneur, obviously I'm exiting the safety zone and I'm going into a world that's potentially dangerous to become entrepreneurial and live my purpose of being entrepreneurial. The other part is 360, which I'll add it to the name because I realized quite early on that I do love business and I do love this concept of being an entrepreneur, but there's a lot of elements to it that contribute to the concept of being an entrepreneur, or just being a human being in today's world. Nobody, I think the days of our parents where you were just an optometrist or you were just a doctor, those days are gone. You need to, especially in today's world post-COVID, with all the mental health issues that we've all got, we need to take care of all elements of our life, 360 degrees of our life. We need to think about our health. We need to think about exercise. We need to think about our relationships and our community as well. So those are elements that I want to incorporate into this conversation. And obviously, we've recorded a few episodes as well, so you see that coming through, because I think that it's the whole journey that we're on as we go. So thank you for tuning in. There's not a lot more to say in episode 1. Hopefully you're catching this and it's the first episode you listen to. I think that's what a lot of people do. They go to the first episode. Just to give you a bit of background, I think you can look forward to just following my journey as I go. I think why I'm excited about sharing this journey is so much of social media these days is bullshit. I'm very anti-social media. I think that we're lied to completely on social media consistently. And I've seen that firsthand, going to a lot of conferences, going to a lot of road shows and big things, digital marketing in particular, things overseas in Texas, in California. And even the big guys are getting up on stage are lying to you a lot of the time. Most of what we see on social media is lying. And I think what I'm excited about that is a lot of those people sharing are, hey, this is I've made it and I'm making 7 figures, I'm making 8 figures, and this, you should take my advice, when they can't really back it up. And I think it's successful people and how they made it. But I think this is the journey of somebody who is going to be successful, who is on the journey, and I encourage you to follow that journey because I'm certain of it. I'm headstrong about it and I'm dedicated and determined to get there. It's just a matter of following my journey and hopefully coming along for the journey. Join me on the journey. If you feel like you hear something in the podcast or you see something I'm doing online that you can contribute to, let's talk, because I'm excited about that. I'm excited about not being pigeonholed into one place of the world. I also, as I say, hopefully it's inspirational as well. I want to be an example for other people. Simone, you are my first. I'm so proud of you for that I've pulled you out of a comfort zone.
I'm proud of you.
Stop it. But that you've come out of the comfort zone and that you're doing it. And I think a lot of people are gripped by fear and uncertainty, and they they're scared. They're scared to take the risk.
You can only expect change when you start doing things differently.
Well,
right?
this is it. And I'll be honest with you, and it very much sounds like I'm on a high horse going, oh, you just have to do it and take risks and all that. I was risk averse for a very long time in my life. That's why I stayed in the position I was in for a long time. And that's why I look back on my life and did I take risks when it was required or when it was necessary, or when the opportunity presented, I didn't. I was a very comfortable, middle of the road kind of guy. And that's flipped a lot. I'm now very, very what the opposite of this? Full on, full stick, full send, full send for any of the drum and bass community that I'm involved in now with, if they're listening. So, and I think, also I discussed about finding purpose, finding what are you great at, because I'm 42 years old and I've only now really started to appreciate what I could be the best in the world at. And, it makes me think of when you're 18 years old and you have to go to university and everyone's looking at each other going, well, how am I supposed to choose a degree? I don't know what I want to do with my life. And it's unfair at that age. And here I am, 42 years, and I'm like, only now am I going, fuck, I think
also, you're very lucky. Some people get to 62 and still don't know what their purpose is.
And that's a big reason of why I took these risks and why I've jumped off this bridge, is because time is ticking. By the way, I'm going through a complete midlife crisis. You can ask my ex-girlfriend about it. Totally. I'm 100% in a midlife crisis. And I'm loving it. I'm loving every moment.
You've got the motorbike.
But I'm doing the cold plunging, and I'm running like the devil's after me. And I'm doing all the things that come with a midlife crisis. And I don't give a shit if anybody judges me on that. I'm loving it. I think it's the best thing ever. I think it's one of the best motivators ever, is to have a quarter life or midlife crisis. But I think that concept of time ticking by and you're running out of time. You're 42. Before you blink, you'll be 52. And then it's too late. Like 62, it's too late. You cannot.
Well, don't tell those 52 and 62.
It's never too late, guys. But you know what I mean? Like it's like do it now before you I think also obviously having lost my dad over the last few years and your dad at the same time. Like Simone and I both, obviously, as I say, we're family, and we both lost our fathers at very similar times. It opens your eyes to the world, man. Once you lose a parent, you're like, wow, man, like life is fickle and life is short, and
put things into perspective.
Totally. So I think I'm doing something about it.
Good for you.
And I think the last thing I think about is that it's about mindset. That all of this has been driven by a mindset shift. I'm no longer, and we talk about that in the coming episodes, guys. I really encourage you to check out episode 2 and 3. And forgive the audio. We were figuring out some of the audio issues in those episodes, but it's about mindset shift. I'm learning that every day, that you cannot make changes in your life until you change the way you see the world, and until you change the filter with which you see the world. And that's a daily grind. And, it starts to make sense why people like David Goggins and Andy Frisella are so angry. They appear to be so angry, is because they're fucking grinding every day, struggling to keep their mindset strong.
Hard work.
It's very hard work. And that hard work is addictive. That's what I'm finding, is like that grind, that morning 5 a.m. alarm goes off and you go, dude, get out of bed, because you're a new person now and this is your mindset now, and you no longer have the mindset of snooze. You have the mindset of go, get out there. It's maybe 12 degrees outside, but you got to go for a run. It's hard work. So we get into that a little bit as well. But that's it. Sim, anything you want to add? No. Episode 1.
Good to be here.
Awesome.
I'm going to leave it to you.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Yeah, give us a like and a subscribe, please, and share this with anybody you think will enjoy the journey. Lots more to come. Thank you.